Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I wanted to do kind of a tips and tricks guide. I don't really know exactly what you want to call this type of video, but I wanted to discuss kind of the idea of counterpicking. And I'm going to give one example of counterpicking and how to deal with it, because a lot of times when people get counterpicked, they're just like, oh my gosh, I am totally screwed. There's nothing I could do. I'm just going to lose this matchup. And then they're going to get really mad for the jungler to not gank them because they got counterpicked, and it just turns into a big mess. So this game I'm playing as Master Yi in the top lane. I feel like Master Yi's kind of gotten forgotten about. He was an extremely overpowered pick after his rework, like Tier 1, God Tier, and then he did get a little bit of a nerf, but I still think that he's very, very powerful. His reset potential is a little bit curved just because he doesn't get that instantaneous reset after kill assist. I think there's like it's just kind of reduced his cooldown or something like that. But anyways, I got picked into a Teemo. Teemo against Master Yi is definitely a counter pick. And it's one of those things where Teemo has so much in his kit to deal with me. Pretty much all of my damage comes from my auto attacks, except for my Q. My Q is also pretty much used just for the gap close. But you know, so much of my damage comes from my auto attacks. I've got a steroid on my E. I've got steroid on my R. And so yeah, the big kicker is he's got a blind. He's got and also he's ranged, and I'm melee. And he's got very strong disengage with his W, with his blind, and with his mushrooms. If he's properly placing mushrooms, he's going to have no problems disengaging from me. And so how do we deal with this? Well, for the first thing, if you look, I was actually I didn't push the lane extremely hard, but I felt it was important to try and push the lane and get an early level 2. And so that's one of the ways you can deal with this. Looks like Vi is coming in for a gank. So anyways, actually, before I get into that level 2 stuff, let's kind of just talk about this. So, counterpicking. Counterpicking is it's not like extremely powerful in League of Legends, but I do think that it is something you need to keep in mind. But on the flip side, I also think that it is something that gets a little bit overplayed. I think people, they just, when they can't do what they're accustomed to doing, they kind of freak out and they just think, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, and they just kind of try it anyways, and it just fails. And they end up doing really, really poorly. They feed a ton, and it's just a very negative experience. And so in this lane, against Teemo, the deck is stacked against me, but you have to realize that Riot has done a very good job of giving you an opportunity to have success, and there is a chance for you. There's room for you to outplay him. So there are a couple things that I think that I want to speak on specifically on this video. One is the ranged versus melee matchup. I think this is one, and specifically in top lane, that can be very difficult to deal with. Champions like Quinn or Kennen or Teemo tend to do very, very well against these melee bruisers. And if you look at the way the lane is going right now, this is exactly what Teemo wants. You can see how low he's gotten me. He's making it very difficult for me to last hit under turret. So one of the things that I did is I called Warwick to come and gank. I recognize that Teemo doesn't have any wards, and I asked Warwick to come and gank. And so calling for a gank is one of the ways you can deal with this. Now, Warwick and I probably aren't even going to get a kill, and that's fine. I wasn't even calling Warwick for the sake of getting the kill onto Teemo. Part of it was just the simple fact that I really felt like I needed to relieve some of the pressure. You need to give yourself some space to farm. So that's what I was doing. I was giving myself a little bit of room to farm, just forcing Teemo to back off. Because if he can constantly auto attack me, blind me, auto attack, it's going to go badly. So calling your jungler to help come and gank is a good way to deal with that. Another thing you can do is to try to keep the lane pushed. This is something that works maybe even if you're in bot lane. This is something I use a lot if I'm playing somebody like Vayne or Graves against Caitlyn. She's got a ton of range on me. And so one of the ways to kind of keep her at bay is to push the wave. If you're pushing the wave, that automatically means that they cannot be attacking you, because if they're going to do that, they're going to miss out on creeps. And so it definitely was to my advantage to try to push the lane. I pushed the lane to get an early level 2. I pushed the lane right there to get enough gold for my Doran's Blade and some pots, and now I'm in a good position to work against this Teemo. And another thing is you have to understand that even in the almost the worst counter pick matchup, you still have room to outplay. You still have windows. I think the best way would be to refer to it as like an opportunity window. You still have a window in which you can be successful against your opponent. And so for me, I recognize that when I hit level 6, I get a massive power spike in terms of my combat effectiveness, whereas he mostly just gets one that gives him map control and kind of turns into a nuisance. So you can see I've actually backed quite a number of times, because I don't really want to fight Teemo before level 6, because there's nothing that I can really do. If I Q onto him, he's just going to blind me and then run away, and I'm going to not do much. So that's why I called Warwick to gank. That's why I backed so frequently, was because I just wanted to survive until I hit level 6. And if you look, our CS is actually even. And if that's true, I'm winning, because I'm going to scale harder than Teemo. I'm going to have better itemization. I'm going to do better in team fights than he will. I just have a lot more going for me. So that's why I just try to survive until level 6, call my jungler, try to get as much farm as I can. Also, I've been itemizing very defensively. I got 2 Doran's items. I got a Doran's shield, which is fantastic against the ranged auto attacks of Teemo. Gives you that unique passive that blocks auto attack damage. Fantastic starting item. I also got a Doran's blade because I felt like I needed extra sustain and I needed extra health. So this is the most cost-effective way. And this is the moment where this lane really turns around. You can see I go totally ham, and I pick up the kill onto Teemo. Gonna heal. Nope, just gonna be fine. Let's go ahead and watch this one more time, because this was the moment. Remember when I said that there are windows of opportunity in which I'm gonna have success against Teemo. So right now, I actually just hit a power spike. Let's take a look. I've got 125 AD. I've got a bunch of sustain. I'm gonna be ready to go. So when Teemo comes, look at this. I immediately see him, and I go right onto him. My ult, use my exhaust, gonna use my auto attacks, gonna use my E. I think I even used my ghost. Gonna use my Q when he tries to flash away from me to keep the distance, and I pick up the kill very easily onto Teemo. So that was the all-in moment. Like I said, you have to recognize that I have power windows against Teemo that I have to abuse, and that was one of them. When I hit level 6, I become very powerful, whereas Teemo doesn't have the same power spike. If you look at my summoner spells, I picked summoner spells specifically for Teemo. I picked Ghost because I felt like I needed the extra sticking power, because he does have fairly high move speed with his W. And I picked Exhaust. He's very much reliant on auto attacks and on movement in order to stay safe and to deal damage. So Exhaust was a perfect counter summoner spell for Teemo. If I would have taken Ignite, I mean, maybe I would have also gotten the kill there, but I think Exhaust was better suited for the situation to deal with Teemo. And so now that I've already gotten a kill on him, I'm up CS. The lane has already turned in my favor. I've already started to turn this around into my favor. You know, and that moment right there was very, very key. You have to understand when you have timing windows and you have to use your summoner spells aggressively. And look at how scared Teemo is. You know, I've got my ult back up, and he knows that if he kind of makes a wrong move, I can very easily pop my ult to jump on him and go for the kill. I'm not going to hesitate to do that if he starts to really try to bowl me out. So there's the auto Q auto. I'm not going to take too much of this. I'm going to look to go super ham. If I can push out this wave and he makes another mistake, I'm going to go for it. If he overextends and gets too aggressive with his harass, I'm going to go for it. So right there, he does hit me with the blind. Right there, and there, that's my opening. That's my key timing to move in. So he hits me with the shroom. That's not going to slow me, because I've got my ultimate, I've got my E, got my Q right there to pick up that kill. Going to block this trick shot with my heal, and I'm going to be fine. So again, realizing my timing windows, he used the blind on me, and he didn't really follow it up with too much. He didn't use the blind when I was on top of him. He used it when I was away from him for the ranged harass. That was a mistake. He needs to save that for when I jump on top of him, because I will do that. So I recognized that I had a timing window where I am still very powerful. His Q is down, and my ultimate is up. So I popped right on top of him and got the kill. So you can see this lane has really turned in my favor from what should be a counter pick into something that I'm winning. I'm up 20 CS, up 2 kills to 0. This has really gone into my favor. And so, yeah, I really think that, I don't know necessarily how much more of this game I'm going to show, because I've already won the lane. I've gotten my tower. I'm ahead of CS. I'm starting to snowball. And the rest of this game actually went well. It was a really long game, 41 minutes. And pretty much the difference in this game was the fact that they had 2 snowball carries and we only had 1. Because both Fizz and Tristana got super massive. Gonna pop my ultimate and my ghost and get the kill right there as a kind of a weird Q. But both Fizz and Tristana got massive, and I could basically only deal with one of them. It looks like Fizz DC'd, perhaps. But I don't really care, because I'm just going to go ham and kill Vi. Because my name is Master Yi, and I'm pretty massive at this point. And check this out, though. I actually queued out of the ultimate, but unfortunately, I do trade kills with Fizz. His damage over time is just too strong. But so the rest of this game, it pretty much just played out that they had 2 fed carries and we only had 1. Tristana and Fizz got pretty massive, whereas I was the only one getting massive on my team. And then Draven kind of went on tilt. He went for like a double Bloodthirster build, which didn't really do anything in the late game. His damage really fell off, and yeah, we just couldn't really get too much done. But I really wanted to focus on this early game, and the couple things to take away is that you have this works specifically for the ranged versus melee, but also you can apply these principles to almost any counter pick. So specifically with the range versus melee, you've got to realize that you have timing windows that you have to take advantage of. So right here, I'm going to pop onto Fizz and pick up that kill right there. Very nice. And I'm just fed. I'm really fed right now. But you have to realize you have timing windows. So for Master Yi, whenever Teemo would use his blind and my ult is up, that is a key time for me to dive onto him, because that's when I'm more powerful. If I can stay on top of Teemo, I can wreck him. But if he can keep that distance between us, that 500 range distance between us, that's when he's going to be powerful. And right there, I just overextended with too little health. Teemo it looks like he was just fishing for somebody to come out of that wave, and he did it well. So kudos to you, Teemo. But you have to realize you have timing windows, and you have to take advantage of those timing windows. For certain champions, it's very early on. Like if you want to hit a level 2 and go for an all-in, that's a definite option. But you just have to realize that, it's not, if you just allow them to maintain their power level. So if I just let Teemo kind of bully me and sit at turret and just kind of cry, I'm never going to get out of this. I called Warwick to come and gank, which he did. We didn't even get a kill, but that's not really what matters. The point of that was that it just relieved the pressure, allowed me to farm to level 6, and then right when I think I was at level 7, when I saw Teemo, he was on my side of the river. I know we didn't have any mushrooms in lane. I went right in for the kill, used all of my summoner spells, used my ultimate, used everything that I possibly could on him to try to pick up that kill, and I was successful. And so you have to realize that you have to kind of wait out for your power spike and then take advantage of it and go all in, and it really turns the tide in your favor. Summoner spells, while you can use them defensively, I think that sometimes it is extremely powerful and potent to use them offensively, as I do get picked out in their jungle due to not enough vision on my part. So anyways, I'm probably going to wrap up this video. There really wasn't much left to this game. I got pretty massive. I think let's go ahead and take a look at what the score at the end of the game was. I got over 20-some kills in this game. It was just a murder fest. But look at how massive Tristana is. She's huge. And we almost lost our base. I went for kind of a weird build. Kind of a health crit-based build. Frozen Mallet, Warmongs, Atmas, Phantom Dancer, Brave the Rune King. So kind of an interesting build, which I actually really liked on Yi. I feel like he's got enough damage that he scales really well with attack speed. And so giving myself some health to try to keep myself safe was kind of a fun build. I don't know if necessarily it was the most powerful build. I still think like an Infinity Edge would have been really useful in here somewhere, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I want you to kind of take away a couple of key things that I already mentioned. You have to understand when your power spikes are and take advantage of them. Call for a little bit of jungler help if you really, really need it. But more than anything, you just have to understand where they are strong, and don't let them abuse that. If you're playing against a strong poke champion like Nidalee, she can seem very, very difficult to deal with. But the best way to deal with Nidalee is to go all in. Go super ham on her. Don't allow her to... I actually kind of threw the game right here, I think. All of a sudden, there shows up Vi, and I end up dying, and my team is too bad to deal with the 4-on-3. And so we end up losing. But anyways, yeah, you have to understand that not every champion is strong in all instances. They have strength and weaknesses. They've got power spikes. They've, the game is balanced in that regard. Teemo is very weak if you can get on top of him. So, anyways, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if there are more counter matchups you want me to shed light on in the future, and I will get back to you guys again later. But that was a pretty successful game, I think, for me. Getting picked into a Teemo and going 21-11-7, I will take that. I did my part. I did my best. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.